Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Royal Rumble review for tonight, Sunday, January 25th, 2015. And of course, the Wells Fargo Arena in Pennsylvania. Of course, being the first one in the network, first event of the year, being 999, and more significantly, first WWE Network UK event. And I'm saying this right now. Expect a lot of people to cancel their subscriptions tonight. I bet you WWE Network's going to lose a lot of numbers tonight out of this pay-per-view. And that's sad, really. This pay-per-view, until the Rumble match itself, wasn't that bad of a pay-per-view. Triple threat match was actually a better match than anything I expected. You know what I mean? In my mind, I'll say it again, Seth Rollins was deservingly put in that match, and I'm glad he was put in the match last minute. But the Rumble match, there was no big surprises until the end. And as you see by the subtitle, the man that was predicted to win won the damn thing. You know what I mean? It was exactly almost like last year all over again. Didn't WWE learn from last year? And this is the second year the awards in Pennsylvania. Last year was in Pittsburgh. This year was in Philly. And I got one reason why. I'll get to that in a minute about that situation. Like, the first half of the Rumble was great. And then it went down to shit. I'll give this event 6.5. I take a few points for the Rumble match. The Rumble match was more epic. Especially if this guy would have lasted a little bit longer. And I'll get to my comments about that in a second. It would have been a more epic pay-per-view because the matches, wrestling matches were like basically hit and miss. The pre-show match was pretty good. The tag team title match was good. The triple threat main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship was incredible. And the Royal Rumble match just sucked the heck. You know what I mean? And I think the fans spit all over it. Like once again last year. You know, WWE has the one guy that they want the fans to cheer for. That they want the fans to support. They want to support somebody else. And when that guy they want to support gets out, they boo the shit. That's what happened last year. D-Bry, again, D-Bry not being in the Rumble last year was booed. And how long he was in the Rumble was booed. So, we need to learn the lesson. But before we get to the catastrophe of the evening, the crowd was good for most of the night. Until the Rumble match. But Philly crowds like New York crowds, they are honest. And they were brutally honest during our first match of the evening of the pre-show tag team affair. Now, it was supposed to be a elimination tag match, but at last minute, they changed it to a tag, as it was Tyson Kidd and Cesaro teaming up against Big E and Kofi. Now, like I said, it was supposed to be a six-man elimination with Cesaro and Tyson teaming up with Adam Rose and all three members of New Day. Like I said, they changed it last second. They changed it. So, this match to open up tonight was pretty good. And New Day got booed heavily. And it's like I said, Philly fans can see through the bullshit. Like true hardcore fans, or as some people may call them, marks. I'm kind of in that area. They know what's bullshit. They know what's fake and what's not. And I've said it throughout the get-go. New Day, I have nothing against these guys. But it didn't make any big character change. You know, I even said it when they first debuted. They should have turned heel. They should be heels, in my mind. You know, because they have no identity. They just jump around and dance. You know, they have no identity, no basis. They've been calling them the I've read things from insiders saying that they're like the anti-Shield. The Shield worked as a unit and had a cohesive thought process. New Day is just a thing mumbled together and poorly executed. You know what I mean? And Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, they looked really good tonight. All they need to do is get rid of Adam Rose. You know what I mean? Adam Rose is an unnecessary prop. The only reason why he's in there is just because that Cesaro and Tyson were members of the Exotic Express. You know? But that's probably why. You know? So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. With that equation. And Big E, it was a fun match. Like, New Day looked decent in the match, but Cesaro and Tyson Kidd looked really good. It was great action. Very exciting opening. This is probably the best pre-show match I've seen in a while. Like, WWE pre-show matches are mostly sometimes 4-way matches. And this is like the second pre-show in a row that the New Day's in. You know, they were in the last pre-show. New Day against Star and Goldust at the TLC pay-per-view. Second pre-show in a row they're on there. Tells you how much faith WWE has in the New Day now. Not getting a good reception. They didn't even try to be on the mic, but he's still gonna get over that good. So, Biggie and Kofi were looking good. They had some double team moves. But Cesaro and Kidd had some great double team moves. And it was, like I said, very exciting matchup. Especially the ending. Adam Rose tried to get involved. He got knocked out. A couple great near falls. But the end came when Kofi Kingston was put in the sharpshooter and tried to counter out of it. Cesaro was on the apron, elbowed, or should I say uppercutted Kofi as he went off the rope. Got caught in a move from Tyson in a 1-2-3 victory for Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. And I believe now that Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, in my mind, should be the next number one contenders for the tag team titles. I've been saying this ever since they became a team. They have so much potential. And like I said, all they need to do is just get rid of Adam Rose. He's just unnecessary. You know, once they get rid of him, they can be legitimate. You know, they have the moves. They have great chemistry together. They have great double team moves, and I believe that Cesaro and Tyson Kidd are the next team to get the tag team title shot. Not the Ascension. I thought the Ascension was destined to be in the position to get the next tag team title shot. But the way they've been booked lately, you know, I don't think they need a better booking. Because the booking the Ascension, you know, like the next big thing. By the way, my rating for the first match of the pre-show, about 2.7. Just because it was a fun match to begin the show. Next up, the first match in the main card, being the Ascension. Now, the Ascension's been put up on a pedestal because of their booking, about them dissing other tag teams and beating up jobbers, dissing legendary teams like the World Warriors and Demolition and Powers of Pain. Well, last week on Raw, I didn't make a Raw review last week because I didn't get to watch it live, but I did watch the Raw reunion. And that's what makes it more so. Last week's Raw was pretty good. Sting came out at the end. You know, we got really hyped for the Rumble pay-per-view. And then we got to the pay-per-view. Most of the matches were decent, especially the title match. But the Royal Rumble match, unfortunately, it was too predictable. We know who was going to win, but still. They should let D-Bry last longer. Anyway, I'll get to more of that in a second. Slave the Ascension finally in a match against a real team. Not jobbers, but a legendary team. They got involved in a segment last week doing Raw reunion against New Age Outlaws, NWO, and APA, and they got destroyed by the Legends after dissing them. So, my dad and I watched the shows together, and my dad said, I predict the Outlaws were going to get a match against the Ascension. Well, that's exactly what happened. New Age Outlaws taking on the Ascension. Now, I am a big New Age Outlaws fan. I love them. They were one of my favorite teams when I was a kid. I was a big DX fan. Of the original DX. You know, Road Dogg, Badass, Triple H, China, and X-Pac. You know, I was huge for those guys. And I was 10 years old, and I was doing the jump, suck at things, you know. This is why we went PG, because people like me, my age, you know, kids now, when I was their age, I was seeing things like sucking in puppies and whole chains. So that's why my parents' conservatism ruled out. But I still have a solid place in my heart for New Age Outlaws. One of my favorite tag teams, besides LOD, of course. LOD is my number one. And New Age Outlaws is probably number two. Deadly's the close number three. Anyway, New Age Outlaws were tag team champions one point last year. It was kind of cool to see them as tag team champions last year. And it's also cool to see them in this match. And they're not there for the money. I love when these old guys come back. Like, RVD and Jericho come back for the same reason. They don't want to come back for the money. They come back not just for the fans. They come back to get the younger talent over. And that's what the New Age Outlaws did tonight. They got the Ascension kind of over. And the Ascension got the biggest reception I've seen them get in a while. Because most of them, when they come out, they get crickets. And Cena knows it's better than anybody. Any reaction is better than no reaction. You know, whether it's a pop or boo. You know, Ascension got heavily booed tonight. You know, it being in Philly. You know, home of ECW, you know. in old school fans. So it makes a lot of sense for the really booty Ascension to make fun of the old school legends. And like I said, the match was too short though. You know, New Outlaws got some big moves and like Roll Dog did his shake, round, and roll thing. They got pummeled by the Ascension 4 hours and decent double teaming. But then, of course, Badass came in, almost tried to show off for ripping off his own move. You know, Dolph Ziggler. Well, some would say rip off. I say Dolph borrowed the famous there. Billy Gunn tried to use it, and then he got dropped down. And then he got set up for the Fallen Man, the double team. I do like that finish. 1-2-3 victory for the Ascension. Now, I haven't said this for the last couple weeks. I've been looking for the Ascension getting back in. And I've noticed something. Every time an NXT guy comes in from WWE, they fucking ruin it with the booking. They ruined Paige with the booking. Almost. Paige is trying to rebound herself. Adam Rose got buried because of the booking. And Bray Wyatt is trying to redeem himself. By the way, he looked good in Rumble tonight. And they almost buried the Ascension here with the booking. You know, making them look bad. You know, they should have left what, like the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And what they did in NXT should have done well. They should never dressed them up in the spikes and almost give them like an LD ripoff thing. But it was still cool to see them beat a team. But I still think a lot of monks are still going to say they should be like a real active team, not just some Legends team. But still cool to see Ascension finally get a win over a legendary team, or at least a good team, not a squash team. But it could have been a lot longer. That's why I'll give this match a 2.2 for the first match of the main card. But still, the Outlaws look good. Like I said, they look good, and they made the Ascension look good. That's what good wrestlers are known for. Not just making themselves look good, but also making the other guys look good. But there's one guy who wants to get himself over more than anybody. Wouldn't even allow Stunt Double to get in. And I say the breakup is more than evident. Referring to Miz and Mizdow for the tag team titles, taking on the Usos for the tag team. Or as I call it, the handicap match. Because Miz is this character. People love to hate him. He's a real life douche. You know, just people hate the Miz. You know, it's been like that since Miz debut. You know, like the stigma of him being a reality star coming in. And I hate to say this, Miz has done pretty well. You know, I hate him though. But I'll at least give him credit for at least dugging it out and actually doing good. And I'll give him credit for at least withstanding the punishment. You know, he wasn't there the majority, probably the entire time in the matchup. You know, and once again, Mizdow stole the show with his legendary reactions to Miz and being a stunt double and all that. I still love that. And I've been saying it. I sound like a broken record. I hope Mizdow gets something big out of this. Hope he gets a big push again out of this situation. So we see Usos dominate for most of the matchup. Miz fighting his big moves, and once again trying to capitalize on the distractions on Mizdow. And refusing to tag in Mizdow. He didn't even tag in Mizdow the entire time. I mean, one move when he was reaching out to Mizdow, like, hey, Mizdow, want to tag? Psych, you know. But then Mizdow eventually got himself in the match anyway. You know, no blind. I thought he was going to blind tag, but he never did blind tag. But it was a fun matchup. I love the tag team title match involved. Which I think was a little bit better. But still, this match wasn't that bad. Another fun match between these two teams. Kind of an interesting back and forth scenario. Miz coming in with a skull crushing finale. Even Mizdow did it. Mizdow is better than skull crushing finale than Miz. And it was kind of funny when Miz pinned one of the guys. It would have been more funny. Not only would have been funny to see Miz win, it would have been funny to see Miz win on the skull crushing finale, but not done by him, by his own stunt double. That would have been funny. But then, after that, after Sandow comes with the skull crushing finale, Miz would get kicked in. He almost got suplexed a few times. But then, of course, Miz didn't know who the guy was. He got beat down. He got set up for the big frog splash by Jimmy. And a 1-2-3 victory for the Usos, retaining the tag team titles. Yeah, I thought the breakup between Miz and Mizdow was going to happen during this matchup. I thought, like, Miz was going to not get pinned. I thought Mizdow was going to get the pin to make Miz hammer on Mizdow for costing the match. And then cause the split. But the seeds of the split happened during the Rumble match. Probably. And especially during the promo when you see Miz say that I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. And Mizdow repeated him. He said, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. So like I said, we'll get to that in a second. 2.5 for this tag team affair. So there you go. Now, speaking of one-sided affair, you thought the Usos match against the Miz and Mizdow was kind of one-sided. Miz being in the entire time and refusing to tag in Mizdow. It's kind of like almost what happened in our next matchup. A lot of tag matches tonight. You notice there was no single matches in the entire card. You notice that? There was like no one-on-one match. It was like tag match. You know, the one match itself in the triple threat match. So, no one-on-one matches tonight. What we were gonna Divas tag team match. Bellatrix against Natalya and Paige. I kind of knew. I know this feud's been building, but in my mind, they should have had a Divas title match instead. I'm sorry, they should have had a Divas title match instead of a tag match. It turned into like almost like what happened in Miz and Mizdow, but it was like a Bella handicap match. They just destroyed Natalya the entire time because Natalya pinned Brie at one point. You know, I bet you they will have a match. I thought they were gonna have a title match tonight. Or maybe Paige. But they should have done what NXT is doing in their match. They're having their next event coming up. They're going to have like a fatal four-way for their women's title. Who have better women wrestlers. Like, the only reason why... Like, I said in the beginning of the video that people are going to cancel the subscription to WWE Network in retaliation and boycott over what happened tonight in the main event. But even though I think there might be still fans that do that, there's only one reason why some people may not cancel NXT. It's NXT rules. The only good thing about WWE now is NXT. When your developmental company is better than your main product, especially after the night, something's wrong. Anyway, Paige didn't even get tagged in. And there was one move that kind of, I think Brie kind of fucked up. They were outside the ring, and I think one Bella flew, and then I think Brie flew. And this is proof why Bellatrix, or the definition of the WWE Divas these days, focused on beauty, not athleticism. Because like Bella, Brie kind of botched she like a big fly move on top of Natalya, and she kind of botched it a little bit. And you fucked up, Chance. And like I said, Paige never got tagged in. You know? And there was like I said, there was like basically a handicap match against them and Natalya. Even Natalya tried her best to fight back, even trying to get a sharpshooter on a few times. And at one point, she was looking to finally get, she was the closest she got to tagging in Paige. And the Bellatrix being so smart, that's the only time I was actually saying they're smart. They took out Brie took out Paige, with Natalya leaving her with nobody to tag in. Brie would come in with a full arm and 1-2-3 victory for the Bellatrix. So there you go. With Nikki being the champion, still in this matchup with the no title. So Nikki got the victory after knocking Paige off, refusing to get her in 2.0. Proving once again why NXT's women are better wrestlers. Because WWE lets the women actually wrestle on NXT. They don't give us competitive women's wrestling on the main program. That needs to change. You know? Especially when Sean finally comes into the main roster. But if they fuck up the Ascension so bad with their booking, imagine what they'll do to Charlotte. I hope they don't fuck up Charlotte like they're doing the Ascension. It's not the Ascension's fault, but their booking. Like, everyone's hating on the Ascension. They're doing what they're told. You know? I don't think the fans are booing the Ascension. They might be. I think they're booing the booking. Take it both ways, you know. So there you go. Now, on to the best match of the night. The only fight that kind of almost saved the pay-per-view. The triple threat match for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. John Cena against Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Now, we were fearing that John Cena and Lesnar were going to face off again. And when this fight was first announced properly at TLC, I was like, fuck, here we go again. Cena Lesnar 3. Another snore fest. Third fight in a while. I was not looking forward to it. But then once they inserted Rollins into it, a lot of people were like puzzled because he has money to make briefcase. But then they started making him look good, especially on Raw last week and last couple weeks, curve stopping Lesnar and making him look logical to be the next champion. And after tonight's fight, I am so happy they added Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins tonight proved his status. He should be the star. Like, you look at the Shield, Seth Rollins should be the breakout star, not Mr. Waynes. Like, I like Reigns as much as anybody else does, but like he's being shoved down the throats. And the fans don't want him to be their guy. They want somebody else to be their guy. And that's what happened during the women's match. I'll get to that in a second. But the main event was very awesome. And that's saying something for Cena Lesnar match. And it's all because of the added ingredient. Seth Rollins. In my mind, I think Seth Rollins has been talking about, he's been talking about him being the future of the company in a main eventer. He had a great match against Dean Ambrose a couple months ago in Hell in a Cell. But I think tonight, Seth Rollins, finally officially solidified his main event spot. He deserves to be a champion. He deserves the main event spot. I think he earned it tonight. He was the fucking MVP in the matchup. I've been applauding Seth Rollins for a long time. I've been loving him in the Shield. Now I was hoping to see him do good things. It took a while to finally see him live up to his potential. It took a while. But tonight, he lived up to it. It was an exciting matchup. Really good spots in this matchup. There was some really good spots in this matchup. For being a triple threat match with Cena and Lesnar, it was just amazing. It was just exciting. Lesnar came with his big suplexes. And to see Rollins go toe-to-toe with Lesnar and him look good in it, and Cena too. Seeing Lesnar and Rollins wrestle for the millionth time, okay. But seeing with Lesnar, fine. There were so many epic spots. With counters in a five knuckle shuffle, but the move of the night was when Rollins did to Lesnar. Before that, we saw Cena do another good spot. Was like Cena doing a couple of FUs and still couldn't get Lesnar down for the count. But like I said, the move of the night was definitely when Rollins got Lesnar on the table and did an elbow from the top rope through Lesnar on the Spanish announce table. Because this is a triple threat match, which means no DQ. So that was like the spot of the night. And the crowd was so into it. It was just epic. And also the best moment of the match was when Lesnar was laid out for like 10 minutes. And Cena and Rollins had the best wrestling they've ever had together. Because Cena and Rollins have had decent matches. But just seeing those two wrestle one-on-one for like 10 minutes when Lesnar was laid out like that after the table spot. Dude, they were awesome. That was like the best minutes of wrestling they've ever had together. It was really back and forth, really exciting. And like I said, Rollins was the MVP. He deserves to be a main eventer in my mind. Like I said, he solidified his main event spot. And it was just amazing. And you saw ENTs come out for Lesnar. And Rollins coming with a curb stomp. Even J&J security got involved. Even being taken out by Lesnar and got back in. Cena FU'd him. Another big spot tonight was when Lesnar came back. Right as Seth Rollins did like a shooting star press type move, a corkscrew 450. And that move nailed, like, you should have seen the impact of when Rollins did the corkscrew 450, his head landed on Cena's belly. The impact of his head hit the belly. And then Lesnar came in. He came back from the impact. And then bang, he just looked awesome. This is the best that Lesnar's looked since he came back. Like I said, like everybody looked good in this matchup tonight. What I mean? Even Lesnar. And we all been bitching about Lesnar ever since he came back. Part-time champion, he beat Taker, then deserved to beat Taker. I think he looked really good tonight. He looked like a badass because he took the punishment. He took punishment from Cena, took punishment from, especially the punishment from Rollins. He still came back like a motherfucker, just nailed them both. When he came back in, then Rollins came in with a suitcase, with a briefcase. He almost set up Lesnar for an F5. He nailed him a few times in the briefcase. He almost curb stomped him on top of the briefcase. Then Lesnar would counter with the F5 on the briefcase. And the 1-2-3 victory for Brock Lesnar retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. And 3.5. I'm close to giving you a 4.0, but I don't know. I'll give it a 3.5. It was just an epic match. For being seen, like out of all the decisions that we made lately, Rumble match, bad decision. Putting in Rollins in the match against Cena and Lesnar, good decision. I'll give him credit. I'll actually give WWE credit for inserting Rollins like that. You know, a lot of people are puzzled because he's got the mind break request, and I'm actually glad he lost because he can still cash it in. He wasn't able to because he was knocked out. I thought that scenario would happen, that Rollins would still lose and then cash in, but he was taken out with the F5, so he wasn't able to cash in. But I think, like I said, Rollins deserves to be a champion. He looked. This is the best I've seen him since he joined the Authority. Well, discounting the Ambrose match. Like, to see him in a title match, his first major title match, as a solo competitor, and he looked amazing in it. There was so many, like, near falls, like Cena and Rollins pulling each other out of pinfalls. There was so many great spots, so many fun, entertaining spots in this matchup. Especially what Rollins did tonight, coming up the top rope. He's always been one of my favorite Shield members. I've always said that during my reviews last year, especially doing Extreme Rules, when he jumped off the top of that balcony. You know, like, nothing against Reigns, but Rollins is, in my mind, going to be the breakout star here. And he deserved it tonight. He looked really good tonight. Like I said, he has nothing to be ashamed of. Even though he lost, he will become champion one day. It's only just a matter of time, especially with that briefcase. He only has 5 more months left. That's the point. He won that briefcase back in June. He has 5 more months to cash it in. I'll give you a possible scenario. He's going to cash in at WrestleMania. That's bold. Especially the way, with the Rumble, the way it went tonight. I'll get to everything and explain why I think Seth Rollins should cash in at the pay-per-view, at WrestleMania. I'll get to that. Let's get to the Rumble match itself. Second year in a row, mixed, but and the Rumble started out so good. Really fun first half of the matchup. And it really was the first half, you know, the first 50 numbers. We would start. The first 2 coming in was R-Truth and Miz. And then the first surprise. I kind of heard this rumor, but I didn't know it was actually going to happen. Bubba Ray. That's right. Bubba Ray Dudley, the only old school ECW guy to come in the match, was number 3. And he got a massive pop, especially coming after that great epic triple threat match, which I did not think was going to be that good. It actually wasn't good. It's because of the added ingredient, Seth Rollins. I cannot explain enough why Rollins should be champion one day. So, Bubba Ray came in, and I'm saying Bubba Ray, not Bully Ray. It was fine to finally call him Bubba Ray again. You know, I know he left TNA a while ago, and there was rumors about Dudley Boys coming back to WWE, and there was like rumors they weren't going to come back. Then I heard they were going to come back tonight, or at least Bully Ray did. Bubba Ray did. To see him come back as Bubba Ray again, and then come back with the old Dudley theme, and coming out with the old Dudley outfit, I kind of marked out for that, you know? Like, I'm kind of half a mark, you know? And Bubba Ray came in, and he looked really good, and he and R-Truth, since Devon never came out, that was disappointing. There was We Want Devon chance. R-Truth kind of filled in for Devon, doing the why that. And then, here comes Luke Harper was number 4, and then Bray Wyatt was number 5. He lasted the longest out of everybody. And that's when he eliminated Bubba Ray. And then we saw all 3 Wyatts at the same time, because we had Harper and Bray in there. Luke was number 4, Bray was number 5. And then Curtis Axel was supposed to be number 6. He never officially entered, because Eric Rowan, who was never really entered into the Rumble match officially since he failed to qualify this past Thursday on SmackDown after being brought back in the company, along with Ziggler and Ryback, who won the Rumble match. Rowan came in unofficially, got pummeled by both Bray and Luke. And then you saw Bray Wyatt eliminate everybody and being the only guy. It reminded me of what happened with CM Punk in 2011. CM Punk kept eliminating everybody left and right. And he was like the only one in the ring. And grabbed the mic. That's what Bray Wyatt did. He grabbed the mic saying that, "This is my year!" And he was like, he's got the whole world in his hands. And then kind of another kind of big surprise was the Boogeyman is number 7. He came in and he got eliminated very quickly by Bray. Number 8, Sin Cara coming in, eliminated by Wyatt. 9, Zack Ryder. It was cool seeing Zack Ryder in there. You know, he's back from his injury. And we didn't, I'll get to and like I said, besides Bubba Ray and the return of a certain great one, now other big surprises. Then came the controversy tonight. Daniel Bryan. Coming in at number 10. Now, last year, the Pittsburgh fans booed the hell out of WWE when Daniel Bryan did not even enter the Rumble match. He wasn't in the match. And WWE booed him when Batista won. This year, they booed again and basically ruined the rest of the Rumble match when D-Bry was eliminated after being in for five numbers. You know, he was number 10. He got out doing number 15. Now, I am, yes, disappointed that D-Bry was out quickly. I am disappointed that they should have let D-Bry stay in a little bit longer. You know what I mean? But the fans basically spat on the entire rest of the Rumble. The rest of the Rumble was never good after that. Even when The Rock did come back, there's a lot of rumors about Rock coming back. He came back after the match. But even The Rock didn't even get a big pop because the fans were still pissed for the second year in a row that D-Bry kind of got screwed out of the Rumble match. You know, last year was the fact he wasn't even in the Rumble match. This year, it was the fact he wasn't in the Rumble match long enough. You know what I mean? WWE needs to learn one or two lessons. A, let D-Bry stay in longer. Or B, don't let the War Woman be in Pennsylvania again. But here's the thing to consider here. D-Bry hasn't wrestled that much in months. You know, this is like his first major match back. You know, he's got a broken neck. And plus, can you imagine a guy like D-Bry against Brock Lesnar? Just logically think. If D-Bry would have went all the way and win, even though we kind of knew the guy was being shoved down our throats, D-Bry would have got destroyed by Brock Lesnar. Especially his broken neck and everything. He would have been killed by Lesnar. He would have been permanently paralyzed. Just consider it that way. You know, and I love D-Bry. I'm a big D-Bry fan. But the fans' reaction was kind of deservedly so. You know, I can understand the fans' frustration. But that's not a reason to chant bullshit. CM Punk. It was that bad. They brought back the CM Punk chants. Get over it. That's the thing. Like, get over it. You know, get over CM Punk. You'll never come back. It kind of get. I never chanted D-Bry about the match. But the couple of chants that kind of got me was, we want refunds. That's probably what every WWE Network subscriber is saying, probably. And I was subscribed to the network. And I'm not going to unsubscribe. You know, yes, I'm disappointed. And the way WWE's kind of booking themselves. But, hey, you know. I hope they change, but it's tough, you know. I said it for a while. It's tough being a WWE fan. You know. So D-Bry should last a little bit longer. I can understand the fans' reaction, but it's just, they spent on the entire card. And WWE started it, the fans reacted to it. But before D-Bry got eliminated, Fandango came in, the Tyson Kid, Stardust, and DDP was like the last big surprise. That's what I think happened. I think they purposely put Bubba Ray and DDP in before D-Bry got eliminated, because after that, the fans basically shit on the entire card. And it didn't help. Like, after D-Bry got eliminated, it didn't help to have Kofi Kingston and Adam Rose come in and they got heavily booed with the fact the fans were already angry at WWE for eliminating D-Bry too early. Then Roman Reigns came in. Now, so what happened last year? Batista was like the chosen one, like the guy that WWE kind of forced down our thoughts, the one that WWE said, hey, he's going to be the guy to be the one to win the Rumble this year. You must cheer for him. And they didn't want to cheer Batista. They wanted D-Bry to win. They wanted D-Bry to be their guy. And they weren't too happy when D-Bry wasn't even in the Rumble match. And unfortunately, the same reaction came from Roman Reigns, because he's the one that's been shoved down the throats of everybody, you know, being the one that he's the one that you should cheer for, the one that is going to win the Rumble, whether you want it or not. He's the one that you should be cheering for. And the fans still want D-Bry. Neck injury or not. You know what I mean? And Roman Reigns got heavily booed, and I was like, watching, I was like, uh-oh, this is not going to be a good sign, because there was a billboard that leaked recently in Times Square that showed Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. And I think that's what got the fans wired up, because everyone kind of knew that Roman Reigns was the favorite, and now that the billboard's in New York, and it's kind of official now, like, everyone knew the ending. without even knowing who else was gonna be in. Everyone in the ending. You know, and I was like, oh shit, this ain't gonna be good if Roman Reigns, when he eventually does win, he's gonna get booed out the building. That's what happened. Then we had Big E come in like that. Like I said, after D-Bry got eliminated, like they didn't, like nobody didn't help. Didn't even help their case by getting all these shitty guys to come out. You know, Big E came in. Mizdow got like the. I told you in the beginning that Mizdow and Miz would pick up. See, I thought the Steves were gonna be planned during the title match, but I think they're planned during the woman match. Mizdow came in, but then Miz was like, "Don't get in there. It's my spot because you're my stunt double. I get your spot." But then Miz got out quickly. And Mizdow was like, I'm going to get that spot. He got in. And he got eliminated quickly. And Miz got mad at him for coming in. That's a little bit of a tiffy to start the slowly but surely finally seeing Sandow turn. It's starting, you know. It's going to be a slow build, but we're going to see Sandow finally build to finally turn on Miz. I think it should have been happening tonight. Like, the full impact tonight, but maybe fastly. Anyway, then you had Swagger in, Ryback in, Kane. Ambrose's got like the next biggest pop. You know. He was 25. Tyson was 26. Then Benoit Bear came in 27. Cesaro was 28. Big Show 29. Dolph Ziggler 30. No Randy Orton return. No Sheamus return. No Bo Dallas return. You know. I think a lot of people at this point, I thought those two were going to return tonight, but they didn't. That's what they hurt the later half of the matchup. No big surprises. Like, they needed a big surprise during the woman match. But I think it didn't. I don't think even if those guys would have came in, I don't think it would have helped. Like, after Roman Reigns apparently eliminated everybody, the final four was Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Big Show, and Kane. And by the way, Kane got the most eliminations in any Rumble, not just like individual, but in total Rumbles. Kane eliminated 40 guys in his entire history of being in a Royal Rumble match, beating Shawn Michaels' record of 39. I knew Kane was going to beat it tonight, and he did. But the most eliminations tonight was Bray Wyatt, who lasted the longest. You know, lasting to number 24. So there you go. You know, the Big Show knocked out everybody. You know, knocking out Ziggler, knocking out Ambrose, and the fans' boos got even worse. Then Reigns, we thought he eliminated everybody. When he double eliminated Big Show and Kane, I knew he was going to eliminate Big Show because of their issues. But then Rusev never really got out. And then Reigns came in. We want Rusev chants came out. And then Big Show and Kane started double teaming on Reigns. Here comes The Rock coming in. Not even The Rock could distract the fans from their hatred for Reigns winning. You know what I mean? Like, not even The Rock could get a big pop. Like, he got a good pop. But then once he started helping Roman Reigns, that's when he got booed heavily. Because Roman Reigns didn't want to. Fans didn't want Roman Reigns to win. And then eventually Rusev got back in. You know, he wasn't really officially eliminated, and Roman Reigns won. And like I said, there were fans shooting bullshit. We want refunds, faintly. And, you know, and let me say this. If D-Bry would have lasted longer, Reigns would not have, like, the impact of Reigns winning would have not been that hard. You know, if D-Bry would have lasted longer. You know what I mean? If they would have let D-Bry last longer, I don't think, like I said, they would have booed as bad for Reigns. But here's the problem that I have. Here's my, you know, devil's advocate. I don't think it mattered when D-Bry was eliminated. You know, even if D-Bry did last long, when he got eliminated, no matter what point he did get eliminated, whether it's early or late, they probably still would have done the same thing they did. Not after number 15. You know what I mean? So, you know, yes, they should have got D-Bry longer. But going back to that, I think it didn't matter when D-Bry got eliminated. Just the point he got eliminated at any point. Didn't matter how long he lasted. He lasted 5 numbers, or even if he lasted more numbers. When he got eliminated, no matter when, the fans would have booed anyway. So, like I said, everything that we're trying to do, even bringing The Rock in, like Rock was rumored all day to come in, and he didn't come in, and no Sting. You know, now I'm kind of glad Sting didn't get involved in the title match. I'm glad the title match ended clean. I forgot to say that. There was no interference besides change of security. So I thought Sting was going to be in the title match, but he never did, thank goodness. Because the triple threat match was the only good thing redeeming this entire card. Especially after the Rumble being so crappy in the later half. That's why the rating is 3.5. 3.0. Take away a few points for D-Bry being eliminated early. Like, I have nothing against Roman Reigns. He should have won last year in my mind, you know? It's kind of weird that Roman Reigns eliminated the most guys last year, and he was in the final two with Batista, and everyone was cheering their asses off for Roman Reigns to win. Against the guy who was being shoved down our throats as the guy that WWE's forcing you to like. That WWE's forcing you to say, oh, he's our guy. And now, look a year later, and Reigns is in that same position that Batista was in. Being the guy that's being forced down WWE's throats and the fans spitting it back in WWE's face by booing it. It's kind of weird how much a difference a year makes. You know, Roman Reigns was cheered heavily last year to eliminate the guy that was being shoved down our throats to be the winner. And then Roman Reigns getting that same position this year. And he's the one getting burned. It's going to be Lesnar and Reigns. In my mind, it should have been, I would have loved to have seen Reigns and Rollins. And here's what I'm thinking. I said this after the title match. That I think now Seth Rollins should cash in at WrestleMania. Here's my logic. I don't think it'll ever happen because you've never seen a Money in the Bank cash in at WrestleMania. But that could change. My bold prediction, quoting the Raw pre-show, is that during the match, you know, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns wins the title at WrestleMania. The fans are going to be cheering Lesnar after what happened tonight. They're going to cheer Lesnar, and he looked really good in that match tonight, and no one wants Reigns to win. Reigns wins the match, and then Seth Rollins comes in and cashes in the Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns. That's my prediction. Especially how good Rollins, I think Rollins is supposed to be champion more than Reigns. Like I said, sorry, I like Reigns and all, but Reigns is just a brawler. He's not a good wrestler. You know, he's just a brawler. Rollins is the whole deal. You know what I mean? Rollins is the next star. He should be the guy going up against Lesnar and WrestleMania, not Reigns. I'm sorry. And that's what I think should happen. Reigns should be cashed in on at WrestleMania if he wins from Rollins. And then the crowd will be popping. That's my bold prediction. Roman Reigns will win the match at WrestleMania, but Rollins will cash in on Reigns at WrestleMania. Because like I said tonight, he deserves the main event spot. He deserves to be champion. He solidified it tonight, and I believe that Rollins should cash in Money in the Bank on Rollins, cashing it on Reigns. If Reigns wins over Lesnar, as many are predicting. That's my prediction. Rollins should cash in on Reigns. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I would love to see it. And it'll probably, maybe almost win back some fans after tonight's event. But I don't know. We'll see what happens the next couple weeks to come. WrestleMania's coming. It's going to be tough to build WrestleMania now. It's going to be tough. So, we shall see what happens. Hey, we thought the same thing with Batista won. We were like, fuck, WrestleMania's going to suck. Then D-Bry got inserted because the fans rioting. We saw what happened. D-Bry got injured. That's the problem. You know, D-Bry back. You know, snacks hurting. He should have lasted longer, but hey, would you ever think about Daniel Bryan, who's back with a broken neck, come in, surgically prepare a broken neck, come in and come back and win the Rumble, then get his ass beat by Lesnar. So there you go. Royal Rumble 6.5 out of 10. Royal match sucked. The main event was better. The title match was better. Man, UFC even sucked this weekend. And one finish was more controversial. D-Bry being eliminated too early, or Dan handled in that controversial finish against him and Chiga Pusasi. But one's scripted, one's not. So there you go. And that is my Royal Rumble review. Thank you very much for watching and tolerating this long review of my ranting a little bit. I'm kind of a awkward night because you saw by my D-Bry comments. With that in mind, y'all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you very much. 6.5 once again for the Rumble. Yeah.